So Robyn's Nest is a nonprofit community outreach here in San Antonio. I always like to start out by sharing our acronym. So N.E.S.T stands for Nurturing Early Success and Teaching. And truly, that's what our goal is. It is to go out into disadvantaged parts of the community of San Antonio to reach out and ensure that young families are able to know ways that they can guide their young children and prepare them for school. Hi, I'm Robyn Tresnak, and I am an educator in San Antonio and actually across the nation. I am a faculty member at Western Governors University in the Teachers College. So I've been in education for over 25 years. I started out in the elementary classroom. I've actually taught an array of areas. So I've taught in kinder and first grade, gone up to fourth grade. I've also been in the music classroom and actually been in administration. And then of course now I'm at the university level teaching those who want to be teachers. So my inspiration for Robyn's Nest was solely based on my experience in the classroom. Many of my years in the classroom were spent in Title I schools. So those schools are in disadvantaged communities. Often they're low socioeconomics. And the families that are in those schools have an array of areas of worries, if you will. They might go through many transitions of living situations. They might move around from house to house or apartment to apartment. Their families might be in a situation where mom's working one shift and dad's working another. Maybe one mom or dad are not in the picture at all. Sometimes grandma and granddad are taking care of them. Sometimes it's an older brother or sister. And with all these different pictures going on in their lives, education isn't always at the forefront. It's not always the first thing that is going to be worked on in the homes. And I noticed this in the classroom, and quickly I realized that there would be a way that we could reach out to those families and have them help us. It's so critical in the classroom or in the lives of our young students to say this is a team effort. It's the family and the teacher and the child. And with that in mind, I was just inspired to start an organization that would reach out into the community to help families understand this. We have a handful of volunteers, times over actually. So our volunteer staff, if you will, is about 15 to 20 people from one day to the next. We don't have all the volunteers out for each event, but then they come and go through different events. And I would say about half of them are educators or have been in education in some way, shape, or form. The other half are people that we know from the community or family members who just want to give back to the community and are ready. And so our educators have guided them along the way in how to reach out to these families. The idea for a mobile school bus was one of those things that grew as well. So I started out with the idea of knowing that I wanted to reach out to the families, and immediately I also knew that I wanted to go to them. I didn't want it to be, oh, you can come over to this classroom, you can come over and meet us here, because truly that would just add one more rough spot for them. I wanted it to be where we're gonna go to you, we're gonna go to your house, we're gonna make it easy for you. And so I really don't know where I first thought about the bus, but as you likely know, we live in this world of tiny houses and fixing up motorhomes and all of these things. And so that's been kind of nice because my idea actually started before that. But then once I saw those happening, I thought, oh, okay, I can latch onto that idea and that idea. But of course, since it's education, I always thought of the school bus needing to be the way that we would go because that just fits together. And I'm a kindergarten teacher. That's my heart. And so I know how I can set up learning centers for students in a confined space even. So I always thought, oh my goodness, I can make this happen. I can clear out a school bus and put learning centers on the inside. And then, as I mentioned at the beginning, that fits my idea of being able to go to the community. In order to transition a school bus, I had to do a lot of learning and I needed a lot of help along the way. So we did a lot of research on school buses. I'm not even a car person, so that was exciting. I started researching school buses and how I could find, of course, an inexpensive school bus, but yet one that would still take us down the road. So that brought us into a friend who is a mechanic and who restores cars. And so he allowed me to come in and talk with him and share ideas with him, and actually looked at buses with us and explored that. So then we finally got the school bus, and then it took the idea of taking it apart, right? Getting all the chairs out of it and painting the inside of it. In our school bus, the top looks like clouds. And then, of course, we laid flooring down. So again, we had another friend that was able to help us. As you probably realized from the very beginning, I try to think big with ideas. So for one, I definitely see us reaching more of San Antonio. You know, right now we're just in a couple little pockets. And so I definitely see us reaching larger areas of San Antonio, going out more often. We also have aspirations of creating activity books for the students. Right now, we do give students, the kiddos that come on the bus, we give them books to take home to have in their families. But we're actually in works right now of creating our own books that we'll be able to give out to the families. And so, you know, we have aspirations in that way of creating our own books. This is a much bigger idea, but because I work at a university that's nationwide, I have colleagues that are across the nation, and there are moments when they will say, oh, when are you going to bring a bus to our town? You know, and so that's not my calling to go to their town, but I do talk to them about ways that they can start something like this in their own community.